Hello and welcome back to game number 2 here between CrunCher and PuMa. I've been going on a commentary marathon, and hopefully it has been to your enjoyment, you lovely, lovely folks in the Force community. And oh man, I gotta tell you guys, before we get into this game number 2, first of all, game number 1 was crazy. Both players opting to go for kind of one-base all-ins. We saw a 4-gate Stargate Phoenix open from CrunCher. However, with the opening Cloaked Banshee into Marine Tank Raven counter push, even without the Raven, PuMa was just able to mop up CrunCher because of the amount of economic damage that initial Cloaked Banshee managed to do. Now, the Cloaked Banshee only killed off 10 workers, yes, but you see how long CrunCher had a lot of workers not mining? I mean, that was really the biggest problem, all that downtime in the mining. So anyways, what I wanted to say before we get into this game is I've got a lot of plans for where kind of the Force strategy gaming thing is going. The eventual goal and what's going to happen, this isn't just a goal, this is what will happen, is the website, we're getting a new website worked up. It's getting done up right now. Some really awesome guys. The name of their business, their company, is 4-Man Furnace, and they're doing a fantastic job of working with me of developing the new website. The website I have now, forcestrategygaming.com, is pretty much nothing. It's a placeholder. There's some random articles in there, but it's nothing that's been updated in a very long time, so there's nothing really notable about it. But the point is that the new website's coming up, and this is very exciting for me. Simply, look at this, 15 gates, so late. This is very exciting for me because my plan for Force Strategy Gaming is to be a central location to learn about builds and tactics and strategies for tons of different games, not just StarCraft, but any kind of strategic focused game, any competitive game as well. And that's going to be the eventual plan, and I do want this to be community driven. So if you guys out there are competitively playing any other games besides StarCraft, and you have any ideas of games that you would like covered on the website, I'd love you to let me know, because we will have multiple people covering pretty much every competitive and interesting game out there and giving good advice and good tactics. Basically what I've been doing for StarCraft, but for every game. That's the plan, that's the goal, and that's what is going to happen. Believe me, you heard it here first. It's going to happen, and when I want something, it happens, because I bust my ass to make sure that is the case. I'm a hard worker, and that basically means when I want something to get done, it does. And why is CrunCher cutting workers right now? Really nuts. Oh, because he's gone for a crazy fast expansion. He needs to make sure he's got the resources here to come out with everything that he needs. And actually a little bit of a supply block there. Very odd opening here from CrunCher. Very odd indeed. It was a 1-gate expand, but with a huge time in cutting workers. In fact, we take a look here. He's still ahead though, unbelievably. He's still ahead of PuMa because of the damn Chrono Boost. Damn you, Chrono Boost. But obviously, Protoss players will retort with, well, how about that mule? And the mule's all right. So anyways, PuMa opening up so far with just the one barracks here, and he may be going 1 racks expand. That seems quite possible indeed, actually killing off that SCV scout before he moves into that next transition there. Now, he does have that early concussive shell. This allows him to not only defend himself, but also push out with some decent early game aggression, which will allow him to safely get up that expansion. So we will be seeing fast expand builds from both players. Sorry, I went off into the tangent. I just wanted to kind of lay down some of the information for the upcoming plans for you guys. So yes, CrunCher going for that 1-gate expand, and we are seeing a 1 racks expand here from PuMa. The difference, of course, is that PuMa will at the same time be pushing out with this early aggression. He has got 2 Marauders and 1 Marine moving across the map. We also have this SCV here that will be scouted out by the probe. However, keeping the SCV there makes it so that this is a longer amount of time that CrunCher's not aware that this push is coming. And does he get it? Yes, he does. He gets the kill and then goes forward with the push. So 2 Marauders and a Marine will be enough to deal with these Stalkers. He just needs to be careful to not take any firing from the high ground here. That's precisely what CrunCher's trying to do. Now, we've got some more Stalkers coming in, so this is going to be a little bit difficult for PuMa. If he can get a bunker up, he may be okay, but without that, it looks like he's going to be getting us around here. So full surround from the workers, plus that Stalker fire. This is enough to deal with this Marauder pressure. We've got a Reaper coming on up too, but that's not going to be able to help much at all, and actually, as you can see, he's just heading back. He'll be grabbing that tower and then probably moving in for some secondary scouting. Actually, he's just going to go straight for that secondary scouting. So we're going to see him pull on back here and eventually try to sneak his way up into the main. And I think he should be able to do that without issue because we can see the Stalkers guarding the front at the moment. So here's that expansion for PuMa. That's very close to finished right now. He does have that bunker coming up right now, just sitting racks heavy. Still just that 1 refinery as well. Back to the tower, and then actually heading back over here. And what is he doing? He's just actually nandering all over the place, grabbing these towers. He's probably just looking for some free probes to kill, honestly. Wanted to see if the CrunCher had any probes situated at any of those towers for those free kills. So opening up with those 2 gateways into and that expansion, here's that robo, and there's a 3rd gateway as well. Warp gate research will be finished in just 1 moment here for PuMa. And PuMa feeling pretty safe right now in his main base. He's got that transition working right on up into his factory. This is going to allow him to work up into the Stargate and get some Starport and get some medevacs out early on so that he can effectively use that biome to a much greater effect there. So we do have the Reaper moving out, trying to do a little bit of damage, but most importantly, just getting that scouting information. He has spotted out the 3 gateways and the robo. So right now, PuMa knows precisely what to expect. He's not worried about any sort of gateway heavy push or anything crazy like that, like a 5 to 7 gate push off of these 2 bases. He knows just pretty standard stuff. This is kind of just the macro type build that we're seeing here from CrunCher. This isn't, looking to take out my opponent crazy early. This isn't some sort of zany techie build either. This is basically, look at those 2 forges though. We'll be pumping out some upgrades. This is CrunCher moving his way into the mid game. Giving him the scouting information here from this initial observer, giving him enough warp gates to be able to defend himself against any possible pushes from PuMa, but still sitting at a strong economy and working his way again into the macro portion of the game. So 2 forges, CrunCher will be coming out with some crazy upgrades here. Robotics Bay also, so we'll be obviously working his way up into some Colossus tech. Now, what do we still have? The Reaper moving about for some scouting. We got 2 Stalkers here at the Xel'Naga Towers. We've got an SCV and actually a probe over here, so CrunCher sitting with a majority of the map control, most of the vision there of the center of the map. Nicely placed missile turret. That may very well take out the Observer Scout, depending on how much attention CrunCher does pay attention to it. How much attention he does provide it with, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Stargate is now up, so we can see right now just those 3 racks plus the Starport will be pumping out units. We may see another racks or 2, but not quite yet. He's going to keep churning out production just out of these until he starts to get kind of an overflow of resources. And actually, never mind, he's not getting ready to move into additional production buildings as he is getting ready to move into an additional expansion. So where's the Observer Scout? There we go. CrunCher paying enough attention to pull away from that missile turret and avoid a quick demise. We do have some units moving across the map right now for PuMa. He does have Stim Pack up as well as that combat shield, and actually, is he moving to drop a scan to kill out that observer, or is he just going to be moving across the map? Looks like he will first be taking out the Stalker here. See you later. Concussive shell means you are dead. Here comes another Observer Scout right now for CrunCher, so CrunCher will be spotting this 3rd, and look at that, at the same time, CrunCher also moving into his 3rd as well. So both players, macro, macro, macro. This is a stark cry from what we saw last game in some very quick all-in-y 1-base pushes. Both players this game decided to macro and work their way into the late game. Now, obviously, this is largely informed just by the type of map. This is a very large map. You can much more effectively go to a macro style play, whereas as I mentioned early on with the last map, it's a smaller map and lends itself to early aggression, and that's exactly what happened. The bigger map, we're seeing macro. The smaller map, we saw 1-base all-ins. So CrunCher is working into Colossus tech. Got a few more gateways coming out. He is sitting pretty Zealot heavy right now. I wouldn't be too surprised if we saw some charged Zealots come out as a result. We can see that Twilight Council making its way on through. The Thermal Lance upgrade also coming out for CrunCher right now. Factory Scout moving across the map. Few Marauders trying to get some map control here. Here are 2 medevacs moving out for PuMa. And oh no, 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 no. CrunCher not prepared for this at all. However, he will scout it out. No, never mind, actually. Instead of moving in the main, we're just going to see PuMa try to force the cancel of this expo. Don't know if it's going to be able to work, though. It's going to be very close. We will have to wait and see. We've got the Zealots and the Colossus moving in, and is he going to snipe it down? Yes, he does. Yes, he does. And with not enough anti-air, PuMa can effectively just lift off and peace out. Now, he lost a lot of his forces, but overall, losing that expansion is going to hurt CrunCher much worse off in the long run. And there we go, Planetary Fortress, nice and defensive position here for PuMa at his 3rd expansion. So PuMa in a very strong position right now in the early stage of the game. Some more mining downtime going on because of PuMa's harass. Will be once more forcing the lift off, however. That Stalker fire able to take out the full medevac there. So PuMa, unfortunately, losing all of his forces, but he has managed to do quite a bit of damage, killing off a total of 6 workers. The biggest thing, though, is that he stopped this expansion. Now, we have CrunCher trying to make up for the fact that he lost that expo in scouting out this expo over here, realizing that he will be way too far behind economically as a result of losing this Nexus, deciding to come out with another Nexus as well. However, this is a risk, especially if PuMa does scout it out. Now, he is not aware of it yet, but if he scouts out the fact that that fourth is getting dropped, that is a very easy kill for PuMa. It takes simply 1 or 2 medvacs here to snipe this out. The forces of CrunCher are forced to stay around this main trinity of bases here. He really can't push too far much further away from this, so he could really not effectively defend this expansion at all. And look at this. Very strong push right now, sitting so Viking heavy. Only a couple medevacs here with the main force. The Vikings will be sniping down those Colossus. We have 2 in play. There's a third one just popping right now as well. No upgrades coming out of that Twilight Council yet. Surprisingly enough, I do expect that charge upgrade, but not working on it yet. He's got some pretty heavy upgrades. Level 2 upgrades coming through for the ground forces here of CrunCher. PuMa, what does he have? He is just 1-1 right now. The level 2 weapons upgrade are just about to finish, though. He doesn't have level 2 armor upgrade coming out, though. Also making a transition into some ghost play, but here comes the aggression. He will be moving right up and sniping down the assimilator here at the natural expansion. So here's going to be a forced engagement here. CrunCher forced to come down, scan, taking out the observer. PuMa is pushing back right now, a little bit concerned about the strength of the force that we are seeing from CrunCher. That's going to force PuMa all the way back, taking some losses to that Stalker fire, and then continuing to make his way back home. Now PuMa, as we can see here, moving into that 4th expansion. We do have the forces of CrunCher working across the map right now. Observer Scout still fully aware of what's going on inside of PuMa's base. Now once PuMa gets up those ghosts, he's going to be in a strong position to land some clutch EMPs. Overall, once more, I am expecting PuMa to be ahead, and yes, he is. PuMa economically quite a bit ahead. And the biggest hindrance, of course, to CrunCher came in losing that expansion. So pretty solid position so far for PuMa. Let's see if he can keep it up. Now, he is in a position to, if he loses this expansion, it would be really rough, but we got a drop coming down over here, and this is going to do a bit of damage, stimming up and working down towards these forces. A little bit surprised that PuMa didn't at the same time push onto one of these expansions. That could have certainly been quite effective. Forced to lift off there, losing everything in his drop. I'm really not sure how much damage that ended up doing. They are about even so far in terms of resources lost, but again, economically, CrunCher being a little bit behind because of losing that expo. PuMa is mounting up for another attack right now. In terms of macro, we have got level 3 weapons upgrades coming out for PuMa. Level 2 armor upgrades as well. He's getting some upgrades for those Vikings. In fact, level 2 weapons coming out for those Vikings. That's going to make for some quick sniping of those Colossus. And as we can see, CrunCher is still sticking Colossus heavy. He hasn't exactly made a transition into High Templar, and it doesn't appear that he plans to either. Charge upgrade finally coming through. Factory Scout of PuMa finally scouting out this 4th. Now CrunCher has had this up for a while, and PuMa attempting to land that factory. You can see right there by the silhouette. Clearly that's not going to happen. PuMa finally realizing that this expo is here, though. Let's see how he responds. Does he push straight up onto it? Does he also try to, at the same time, drop in a different position? That's really the question here. We're seeing some massive upgrades coming out for PuMa and CrunCher alike, and I'm really loving this play. I'm loving the fact that they're going macro heavy this game, and let's see how this next engagement plays out right now. We're going to see CrunCher split up his forces. He is concerned about those ghosts landing EMPs, and here we go. Ghosts leading out front right now, preparing to land those clutch EMPs. Right now, PuMa's a little bit concerned about engaging that, though. He's waiting, what, for reinforcements? Yes, it looks like he's waiting for a few reinforcements. Sensor tower helping PuMa be able to spot any push that would come against his 4th expansion. And here we go, getting ready to land those EMPs. The ghost in the front. EMPs going down on the Colossus and the main force. Those were some huge EMPs. Vikings will be sniping out those Colossus very quickly. Stimmed up Marines and Marauders tearing through CrunCher's forces, and CrunCher getting worked over and calling the GG. And that's going to do it for this series here between PuMa and CrunCher. This was a best of 3, and PuMa with some impressive show of force here in these 2 games, taking the clean sweep 2 games to 0. All right, guys, so that's going to do it for straight up commentary for today. I'm going to be doing some more commentaries tomorrow, which will be Friday. I'm not sure if this game itself and this series is actually going to get out on Thursday. You may end up seeing this early Friday morning or something like that. But anyways, hopefully you guys have been enjoying the StarCraft 2 commentary and the rate at which I've been pumping them out. That sounded kind of creepy. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoy the content, as always, please, I ask that you subscribe. It helps me out tremendously. Thanks again, guys. Keep watching. Keep owning.